too.
Sounds good.
You can advertise your business on Night Dreams Talk Radio, and you will be heard worldwide. Why not contact us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
What we are asking for from the government is full disclosure. We know what we're seeing, and there are too many of us. We're not
As I gaze upon the annals of time, one thing that comes through: we are not alone in this universe. It's a thought that rings true. Ancient cave dwellers drew spacecraft on the walls. It's a recurring theme. I've seen the same thing while walking late at night, and I know it's not a dream.
From Malmstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea.
If you tell the truth, they will ridicule everything you say and do. It's all part of a deception. It's a puppet master's tool. And I've seen those craft shut down the silos from 10 miles away. And there ain't nothing that the Pentagon can do. They can't make them go away.
From Malmstrom to Manhattan, Boston to LA, there are people asking questions and they will not go away. But what has been seen might not be what it seems. The government's shadows dance in the sea. From Malmstrom to Manhattan, New York to LA, you can't get the picture if they're pale or they're gray.
Do you have a paranormal story you want to share on Night Dreams Talk Radio? You could be a guest. Email us at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com.
You are listening to Night Dreams Talk Radio Network, from our compound to you worldwide, with your host, Gary Anderson.
That is me, but I think we just lost RW. RW?
No, I'm here.
Okay, well,
I'm here.
Okay, well, we lost something here. Anyway,
Oh, no.
let's hear that story.
Well, the hitchhiker, it goes back to the early 20th century. I mean, we're talking back when Model Ts were still on the road, and it always involved with someone going down a dark road, nighttime, and they would see someone, whether it be male or female, and like 80% of the time, it's usually a female that they see stranded alongside the road, and they stop and pick them up and ask them, "Where can I take you?" And the female or the male, it has varied, which one it was, and I'll tell you in a second how that ties into me. But it would say, just up the road, just a little ways, and they would try to make conversation with the person, and the person would just kind of be silent for the most part of the ride, or give them some information that there was no way for them to know about themselves, and about the driver. And as they would get down the road, they'd say, "Okay, right up here," and they would go to that point, and they'd say, "Right here," and they would look, and it was a graveyard, and all of a sudden they would turn around and look, and the person was no longer in the car.
That would be scary.
being hitchhikers, of today, you're very leery of that. Back when I was 18, I was going down the highway. My aunt had asked me to go get some bread and milk. And so we lived out in the rural area. And so I was going down the highway or the road, and I see this gentleman alongside the road, and he's, walking. I stopped and asked him if he needed a ride because it was a long ways to the gas station. And he said, yeah, if you don't mind. And I said, well, where are you going? He said, just up the road. So, I'm taking him along, and he starts telling me things. And, he called me by my first name, first off, which I thought was odd because there was no way for him to know my name. And he tells me something that I was having issues with my father at the time. And he told me that everything would work out and that I had a bigger calling in life, that I needed to just stay on the path of what I was on. And I said, well, where can I let you off at? He says, right up here. And it was end of a road that, you either turn left or turn right at, and it was a stop sign. And I said, but there's nothing around. He said, it's okay. I'll be fine. There'll be somebody else to come along that's going to pick me up soon. I was like, okay, being 18. And so I let him out. And as I turned, I looked in my rearview mirror. He wasn't there anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Just seconds. Just seconds.
Truckers have such rich stories. I remember this one trucker that he was driving on the lonely road, and he crossed a bridge, and he saw this woman walking on the side of the road. So he pulls over because it's no traffic late at night. And, she gets in, and he's noticing she's wearing clothes that's like 10, 15 years out of date. And she's talking, and she tells him, her name. And they're just talking, and he goes, where can I take you? And she goes, I'll let you know when. And so they're driving for maybe 10, 20 minutes, and he kind of drives up by a cemetery, because it's off the side of the road. And she goes, oh, this is where I went off. And he lets her out, he's worried. And then he looks in his mirror. She vanished. And it upset him so bad, he went to the sheriff's department, and he said, hey, I just picked up this girl, blonde hair, wearing clothes, years out of style. She was, talking about her boyfriend. She was talking about how she was ditched out in the middle of nowhere. And they all looked at him, they said, we hear that all the time.
The gentleman that I picked up, I was 18 at the time, and I thought anybody over 40 was old. And he appeared to be in his 40s, late 40s probably, and close to the age I am now. And he was in tattered kind of clothing. It looked like he'd, been walking for a long time. It was definitely not the style of the time period. This was in the 80s. And he was dressed in clothes that probably looked like he was from the 60s.
Wow.
And he had a beard. It wasn't a long beard, but it was a beard. His hair was long and curly ringlets type style. He looked like he was from the 60s. He really did.
Well, and maybe he was.
Yeah. I remember that moment still to this day, and how it gave me goosebumps when I looked in my rearview mirror just seconds after letting him out, and he's not there.
Entities. Hey, RW, I got to let you go. I got my guest.
Not a problem.
I got to get a hold of and get him on. That it makes your mind up. Talk to truckers. Since you write and stuff, talk to truckers. They have a lot of scary stories. They really do. Hey, my friend, I want to thank you for calling in.
My pleasure. And I'm going to listen to the rest of the show and enjoy it.
Okay.
You have a good night tonight.
Okay, RW.
Oh, and by the way, good progress on your physical thing. I was very happy to hear that.
Yeah, I'm working hard as I can.
Yeah, I know you are.
Take care,
Thanks.
my friend. And bye.
You too. Bye.
So anyway, we're going to get a hold of Jason Offitt right now and get him on the show. So let's do that. Yeah, that's one thing. I wouldn't want to be a trucker on a lonely back road, because you never know what you might pick up. When you see a lonely lady walking on the side of the road, you pick her up. You never know what type of entity it is. Hey, Jason,
Hello.
my friend, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Yourself?
I'm doing good. I'm running a little bit behind here tonight. I just had a phone in. It's Scary Friday, and, we're talking about stories, scary stories and stuff like that. So how you been?
Yeah, been fine. Been fine. Yeah, my well, it's school time, so my work started back up, so I've been kind of busy.
Uh-huh.
But other than that, I'm doing great.
Oh, great. Well, why don't you tell a little bit about yourself, about your book, and then we can get into monsters.
All right. Well, yeah, I grew up out in the country on a farm outside of a small town. I always wanted to see something big and hairy, and I'm really, as an adult, glad I didn't. I've been interested in monsters pretty much all my life. When I was a kid, there were Bigfoot encounters that were documented in our local newspaper, and I was absolutely hooked on Bigfoot from that moment on, because if it was in the newspaper, it was right. Right? Yeah, that's how it goes. So, yeah, I've been following monsters ever since, and my latest book, Chasing American Monsters, I document all the monsters I could find in each one of the 50 states.
Okay. How about Hawaii? What type of monsters are in Hawaii?
Well, there are some interesting monsters in Hawaii. There's the Minahune, which are the small people of Hawaiian folklore. They're builders. They've been credited with building holy sites, bridges, dams, things like that out of rocks. They do it at night when everybody's asleep. If they are caught at night, if a human, if a regular sized person stumbles upon the Minahune while they're building something, they will abandon the site, and the thing will go unfinished. So yeah, that's one of them, and I've always been fascinated by tales of little people in legends around the world, because they're really pretty similar everywhere. I mean, there are legends from North Carolina of little people called the Moon-Eyed People that built walls out of stone, just like the Minahune did. But anyway, that's just one of a few monsters from Hawaii.
Well, interesting when you mentioned little people. One of my friends and guest on my show occasionally, Sam, she lives up in the foothills of the Cascades, up in the forest area. And she's been getting pictures of little people, but these people are like 3-4 inches in height. And she has sent me pictures over. I've posted them occasionally. And it's really interesting. Hey, James, are you there?
Yes, I am. How are you doing, Jason?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you tonight, James?
Good.
Well, hey, James, you saw those pictures that Sam put up, like the one with the helmet on and all the pipe and all this other stuff.
Yeah, they took my breath away. The one's got a beard and a pipe, and it really looks like little what do you call them, shamrocks or something. It's amazing.
Well, I've talked with people who've sworn that they have tried to get pictures of fairies in their backyard that are 3 or 4 inches tall. Most of the little people stories that I've gotten they're usually between 2 and 3 feet tall. So I guess what you're talking about are tiny people.
Well, they're really tiny. Yeah, when we're talking about 2 feet, 3 feet, 4 feet. Mary Joyce, who runs the reporting center in Cashiers, North Carolina, she has up on her website, and we've had her on the show numerous times, and she was talking about these little people like running naked in the forest that are like 3 feet tall.
Wow.
Right. Well, stories like this have. Again, it's all around the world. In Europe, you've got stories of elves and kobolds, trolls, goblins, tomtar, all sorts of different types of entities, but they're all, basically the same. The same description is they're about 2 to 3 feet tall, and sometimes they'll sneak into your home and steal children and leave a sickly troll child behind. There are stories